Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at Romeo and Juliet, Act 2. And in this video, we're combining Scene 1 and Scene 2 like we did last time, because Scene 1 is so short. And Scene 1 starts off very simply with Romeo feeling a tug in his heart. And as he keeps walking away from Juliet's home, he's like, oh, I left my heart over there. And it hurts too much to keep going. And so then Romeo hides from Mercutio and Benvolio. So Benvolio and Mercutio are looking around for Romeo, and they're like, Romeo! Benvolio kind of asks Mercutio, because Mercutio and Romeo are really good friends. It's like, call out Romeo. And so then Mercutio is like, oh yeah, I will summon him. Because he's disappeared like a ghost. Maybe he is a ghost, so I will summon him like a ghost. And he starts calling out his name, and then he starts calling on like powers. So if you imagine like a witch, and she'd be like, oh, by the powers of darkness, or something. If you remember Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent, she uses some spell and calls the powers of darkness. And Snow White, the Queen makes a potion and uses like some spell. And then a few other Shakespeare plays, there's like spells. But Mercutio starts to say, by the name of Rosalind, and by her beautiful body, and he starts to describe her legs and other female parts, and he's trying to get Romeo to come out, whether he's angry or not. But Mercutio's like using Rosalind's name and body as like a spell to summon the ghost of Romeo, which Romeo doesn't appear, and they're like, okay, he's gone. Yeah, let's get out of here. And they take off, and they're drunk. They're very drunk, it seems like, in this scene. Well, they leave, and Act 2 begins, or Scene 2, rather, from Act 2. And this is the iconic, famous balcony scene. And so Romeo climbs up this wall, and, to get away from his friends, and he kind of goes over, and he doesn't really know where he is. And a light turns on in a room, and for me, I imagine that at first Romeo's he's just thinking, he's like, oh, look at that light. It's like Juliet. And Juliet is the sun, and that must be the east where she's coming. And he doesn't, for me, I believe, he doesn't actually know it's Juliet yet, because he doesn't know where her bedroom is or anything, and he doesn't maybe even know where he is. But he sees this light come on, and he just kind of imagines, oh, maybe it's Juliet, and he starts thinking about how she's like a sun, and how the moon is jealous of her because she's so beautiful, and how stars sparkle in her eyes, and her blushing cheeks would make the stars jealous of their brightness, of her cheeks' brightness. And he's just kind of talking like this, but whoa, what is it? It's actually Juliet. And he stops. Should I talk to her? No, I should wait. And Juliet comes out, and she gives the iconic line, oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Where are you, Romeo? You've captured my heart. Where have you gone? And Romeo's just listening. She's talking about me. She's talking about me. And then she continues on. Oh, if only your name was different. Oh, your name is such an enemy to my family. But if you wouldn't give up your name, then I would give up my name. And then she kind of calls, out into the darkness, what is a name, right? You're just who you are. I can call you Romeo, I can call you a rose, I can call you anything. You're just Romeo, or you're just who you are, and that person, no matter what your name is, I'd love. And then Romeo speaks up, and he's like, oh, here I am. And she's like, who's there? What is it? Who is out there? And he's like, I am just love. I have no name. Call me anything, and that's what I will be. And she's kind of confused, and she's like, well, say who you are. Say your name. And he's like, I don't have a name. Any name you give me is the name that I will be called now. And he talks about baptism. In in some churches, you have like a given name, and this is the name like your parents give you. But then when you get baptized as a Christian or Catholic or what Protestant, whatever, you take on a new name. And so he's like, oh, I will be like I'm baptized. You just give me a new name with your love, and that's what I will change, and that's what everyone will call me. And she's like, oh, is this Romeo? I haven't spoken 100 words to you, but just your voice, I can tell that it's Romeo. And he's like, well, yes, that's what you can call me, and that's who I am, but I'll change my name, just for you. And so they kind of talk about that a little bit more. And then she kind of asks him about love and if he loves her, and he's like, yes, but she's like, no, don't swear to me, but oh, do you love me? And I've already confessed, and you've heard my love for you, and that's not fair, but I'd confess it again. But how do you feel? Just tell me that you love me, that's all I need. And he starts to speak. She's like, but don't tell me. And she kind of keeps going back and forth, and he's like, well, what do you want me to promise by? I'll swear by anything. She's like, don't swear at all, but maybe just swear by yourself, because that's all I need, because you are my God now. And in a way, she's like, you're my idol, so you're the most precious thing to me. So if you swear by that name, that'd be the most precious thing to me. And Romeo starts, and she's like, oh, but don't even swear at all, but just show me by your actions that you're true. Go out and marry me. Get someone, send a message that you want to marry me, that you want to be true and honest. And then the nurse calls, and she has to run away, but she's like, go away. And she's about ready to leave. She's like, no, stay just a moment, I'll be right back. And she leaves. And Romeo's like, oh man, this is like, oh, the best thing ever. She comes back, and they talk some more, and she wants to hear his confession, but then she asks him not to confess again, and kind of goes back into the cycle until finally she says, this other really iconic line. He's saying, oh, parting is such sweet sorrow, and I'll just keep saying goodbye, and so that way so you don't ever have to leave. I'll just keep saying goodbye, and you'll just stay here forever. And they talk about Romeo being a little bird that she can keep, and she'd be able to keep him forever. And he's like, yeah, I wish I could be that bird. But then finally he does have to leave, and she's like, send me word of your true intentions, that you want to marry me, and I will be yours forever. And Romeo's like, yeah, I'm out. I'm doing that. And that is how the scene ends. For vocabulary, again, I'd like to encourage you, and I've really been enjoying this. Out of these two scenes, pick 2 or 3, because there's 2 scenes in here, expressions that you didn't know and you had to look up. And I know you had to look them up because I had to look up some. So look them up, and in your own words, define what that means. So that way you can share that knowledge with the other students. And thank you so much for taking that extra time and energy, because it's been so valuable, I think, for everyone. Discussion question. How soon can someone's confession of love be true? And, we of course, we're talking about love a lot. This is Romeo and Juliet. So, when someone says, I love you, how quickly do you think that can be true? Can that be that first moment? Does it take a year? Does it take 10 years? Does it take a few years after you get married for that love confession to be true? I don't know. But for you, in your mind, what do you think? How soon can someone's confession of love be considered trustworthy or true? And of course, please make your own discussion questions, which I know you're going to do, and they've been so fantastic to discuss and talk about. That is all the time that we have for today, but thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Book Club Preview. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.